Hello and welcome back to the Vanishing Triangle podcast. I appreciate you sticking around and tuning in. It's been a while since I updated. I was doing other things, so you can check all that out on my YouTube and my Facebook. You can check out the interviews I've done with artists called Artist Spotlight, and you can catch up and rewind there. So today we're going to be getting into Fiona Sinnott. If you follow me on TikTok, you'll see that I done a short video for the first 3 episodes, and you can catch up with all the information there. But today we're going to get real in depth, and I hope you grab a cup of tea, grab a comfy blanket even, and get comfortable. So today we're going to talk about Fiona Sinnott, and Fiona Sinnott was 19 the day she went missing. Fiona was 5'2", and if she was here today, she would have been 43. She was the daughter of Mary and Pat Sinnott, and she went missing in Wexford on February 8th, 1988. She had a daughter called Emma, and Fiona was actually reported missing on the 18th of February, which was a couple of days after she was actually seen for the last time. She was last seen in Butlers pub, which is 14 kilometres from Wexford, and as of late, since 2005, her case was upgraded to murder. She was last seen in Butlers pub with her boyfriend and the father of her child, Mr. Sean Carroll. Mr. Carroll was the last person to see Fiona alive. Mr. Carroll said Fiona felt unwell and was complaining of upper body pains, and when they got back to Fiona's place, Fiona grabbed a glass of water and went to bed. Sean decided he'd sleep on the sofa that night. So the next morning, Fiona said that she was still feeling unwell and she was going to take a trip to her GP and maybe tum a lift or hitchhike. But Sean offered her £3 instead to get a bus because he didn't want her tumming on the side of the road. Fiona's apartment wasn't a place that seemed lived in according to reports. The week Fiona went missing, a local farmer found plastic bags with documents and letters with Fiona's name and previous address on them. But he thought nothing of it at the time. And then, when it was reported, he heard about a missing woman, and he decided to call the Gardaí. A week before Fiona went missing, she met with a truck driver at a hotel, but he was tracked down and had an alibi for the week that she had vanished. Now, Fiona's sister and mother believe that they know who murdered her, and there's been 459 inquiries and 355 statements taken until this day about Fiona Sinnott and her case. There have been digs as well to find Fiona's remains. The first was in June of 1998 in Our Lady's Island Lake, but there was absolutely nothing found. The second one was in June of 2015, which was a private site in County Wexford. Again, there was nothing found. An anonymous caller claimed to have called Gardaí with a full admission of being responsible for Fiona's murder and also helping dispose of Fiona's body with 2 other people. But he said if he said any more, it would have been like signing his own death warrant. This caller mysteriously died of suspicious circumstances in 2001 with a suspected OD. So, I mean, there was a lot going on there, and it's believed that her dad, Pat, died in 2004 with a broken heart because he never knew what happened to Fiona. Nobody ever knew what happened to Fiona, and she was just last seen in the pub with her boyfriend, and she didn't feel well, and everything that happened after that and all the information we have after that is just kind of mysterious, you know what I mean? Like the fact that a farmer found a load of belongings with her name and previous address on them just binned the same week just before she was declared missing is crazy, because that is like one big huge literal bag of evidence that was probably destroyed. And then the whole case of when they done forensic checks in her apartment, there was no sign of her living there with her daughter. So there was no sign of a young mother and a young toddler living in the apartment. And that's what Detective Mr. Bailey said. He said there was a lack of personal items and clothes, indicating no sign a young mom and her daughter lived there, basically. And, when you hear that kind of information, you're like, right, so where was she the whole time? Was she actually living there or not? Was she elsewhere? Was she doing something else? Did she have something else going on that, like, her family and friends or nothing didn't know about. Now, on the 16th of September 2005, Garda arrested 3 men and 3 women aged between 30 and 60, and they had close links to this in a family, but nothing further. So basically they were all brought in, they were questioned, there was an investigation, but nothing further after that because there was nothing to go on, I suppose, unfortunately. So, to mark Fiona's 10-year anniversary, a plaque was erected on the 12th of September 2008, but unfortunately it was stolen the night before the unveiling. So, whatever was going on there with Fiona, there was a lot of information surrounding her, what went on, the lead up to her disappearance. I mean, she seemed to have a very good, close family. She really, really was a close member of her society, and everybody knew her, and they knew her boyfriend, they knew her family. Now, her mum said that she can't walk the trail that Fiona last walked before she went missing anymore because it's just too sad for her. And, I can understand that completely, and, I really hope that this family get justice someday, because out of all the cases I've covered so far, this woman had a baby, and she was technically a baby herself. She was only 19 when she went missing. That's so young, 19 years old, and you're just fresh into your life. You're after having a baby, you're after getting a house, it's the prime of your life. You should be enjoying that stage of your life, Now, we have a bit of information as well on our boyfriend, Mr. Sean Carroll. He was in court a couple of years after Fiona went missing for doing something terrible to his cousin. So you can check out that information. I'm not going to cover that, but you check out that information and you can see kind of what Fiona was dealing with. Now, at the time, they were saying that Fiona was dealing with domestic violence, and there was a documentary and stuff done about Fiona and how she was dealing with domestic violence, and she would have bruises and things on her body and stuff like that, so you can check out that documentary as well. So I guess, the whole point of me covering this is what the hell happened. In the first 2 videos I talk about alien abduction, I talk about cult theories, I talk about a serial killer, but when it comes to this case, I think this was very close to home. Whatever happened to Fiona happened to her, close to her home, by someone she knew and trusted. So if you were a Gardaí and you looked at this case, you'd say, right, well, obviously whoever she went with or wherever she went that day, she trusted that person, she went with them, and then whatever happened to her after that, we weren't sure of. And we do know that the last person to see her life was her boyfriend, Sean. So, all the answers kind of rest on Sean's shoulders. He was the last person to see her and know anything. And I think that's where, the investigation kind of went cold, because there was no more they could really ask him, there was no more they could really do. There was a lack of evidence. There was even a lack of evidence of her being alive and living in this apartment with her child, So anything that they looked for, they couldn't actually find. And the whole situation of her parents is kind of sad, because her mom did say, and her sister did say, that they had a feeling who killed her, and they knew who killed her, but they couldn't prove who killed her. And they said that they passed this person and they know this person, and just to hear that is kind of heartbreaking. It's one thing your child going missing, it's another knowing in your heart and soul and gut that this person done something terrible to your child, and you never will get an answer, and you'll never know no different. And it's just, I can't imagine the psychological trauma that her parents went through, and then her sisters. So she 2 sisters, Diane and Caroline. Caroline died in 2017 from a short illness or whatever, but she was convinced that it was someone close to the family, and she wanted more answers, and they never got it. So a lot of things have happened since then. Another plaque was erected, and that went missing as well the same night that it was put up to be unveiled the next day. So whatever went on with Fiona Sinnott, people really don't want a reminder, they don't want to know, or maybe the person who hurt her robbed it. I'm not sure. What do you reckon? Like, comment below, because to me that's like a mind boggle. Like, a family's there grieving and dealing with like a disappearance and not knowing what's going on, and all they want is information and to get the person they love home, and then there's someone coming along and like robbing a memorial plaque to remind people like this woman went missing, like never forget, and they dedicated to her because they wanted her to probably know she is still alive and went MIA, and didn't want to have nothing to do with anybody, that she was loved and she was cared for, and she could come home if she ever wanted to come home, you know. I guess the strangest thing about this is she was last seen on the 8th of February, and then it wasn't really till the 9th of February that people start like thinking, oh gosh, where is she, when was she last seen, blah blah blah. Fast forward a few days, she didn't turn up for her meet with her family for the second time, and they said, you know what, something's wrong, and her dad rang the Gardaí in County Wexford, notified the Gardaí something's wrong, and then the investigation took off from there. So I guess like where it stands now is in 2020 the family got fresh information of a possible whereabouts of where Fiona's body could be. Now the family always said, the mother and the two sisters, that she was buried in a shallow grave somewhere close to the house, and this is apparently the new information that they got in 2012. So now they have planned to do 2 more digs since 2020. So I'm not sure where that stands right now. I've tried to find more information on have they dug, haven't they dug, what's going on, but I haven't found any further information. So if you have any further information about what's actually going on right now with the technical examinations and stuff, please let me know. I know we've come a long way when it comes to DNA tests and things like that. There's also a lot of bodies that have never been identified over the years as well. So maybe like the way we have science now and how far we've come with science and technology, maybe we could like figure out some of them missing people as well that are unidentified by going to the records of bodies that have been unclaimed or unidentified. So that's really it. Like, so all I can say now is there is a reward. So if you know anything about what happened to Fiona or any of the women, please do contact the Garda station that is in connection with the local area of these women and where they went vanishing. So talking about this kind of makes me emotional. Like, I literally just said my sentence wrong there. So if you have any information, contact your local Garda station or the Garda stations that are in connection with these cases. When it comes to Fiona's case, you can contact Wexford Garda Station on 053 916 5200. So that's basically it. I will leave it there. That's everything about Fiona and what happened to her and her situation. Unfortunately, we don't know what she was wearing on the day she went missing. I'm sure people know what she was wearing the day she was last seen, but we don't know what she was wearing the morning Sean Carroll left her home, and she apparently decided to go to her local GP and he gave her £3. So Sean Carroll is the last man to see her alive. Like I said earlier, all the answers rest on Sean's shoulders. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say that this was kind of a hard case for me to do. This took me like 2-3 weeks of going through the information and breaking it down. Otherwise this would have been a much longer video, and I didn't want to be taking up too much time. I like to keep these short and sweet and get the point across and the message out there. And the point mainly is that people go missing all the time, and we have to keep talking about it, and we have to keep highlighting it and being more vigilant, you know. And my goal is to never let these women's memory die. As a woman myself, you know, the world is changing, and to know that this all kind of happened and these cases all happened in the 90s and stuff, it's kind of disheartening, because back then the world was meant to be safer, and you know, everyone knew their neighbours and everybody knew everybody. And as we know now, like, the world is expanding. Small villages are now becoming bigger, and they're not villages anymore, they're becoming towns. And towns have been converted into cities now, practically, with the build-up of populations and supermarkets and stuff. So hopefully being reminded of the Vanishing Triangle and the women in the Vanishing Triangle will help jog some people's memories back in that time, who have gotten older now and might know things and might pick up the phone and call the guards and give them any information that they have on these missing women. So thanks for tuning in with me today, guys. This one was short and sweet. The next case we'll be covering is Imelda Keenan. I'm looking forward to this because there's a lot of information around that. I've actually studied all the cases now with my partner, and I wrote loads, and I don't know whether I threw them out in the bins when I was doing spring clean or if I misplaced them, but we couldn't find the writing that I wrote, so I had to rewrite it again and make it shorter, because when it comes to these things you could talk and talk and talk, but main goal, get to the point, keep short and sweet, and highlight what's gone on in the past in Irish history, and also remind everybody about the women that have gone missing. So thanks for tuning in with me today. I hope to catch you again in the next one. Mind yourselves out there, and if you're a man, mind the women in your life, and enjoy your life. We don't know what tomorrow may bring, so try and enjoy every moment that you have and savour the good ones and battle through the bad ones. I'll catch you again, guys. Peace. I just don't know what's out there. Lights in the sky, unanswered questions.